Hello and welcome back to the Super Swiss. So we have our two provinces and we're in a moment of effectively enforced peace. We don't have fully reinforced levies, so even if we wanted to go to war, it's not really the best time. The closest person that we could attack and have a claim on is our ally, so that's not really going to do. Swabia is still too strong. I mean, they're stronger than us now and they're at half strength. By the time we're at full strength, they'll be at full strength, and well, that's not really going to work. I don't want to create a realm which is kind of split up, which is why I'm not attacking these two. It is an option. We could always, because we have the money for it, we could always just go here and say, hey, you, go fabricate me a claim on this bit of land and we can go and take it. But I don't really want to do that, so that's the reason we're not doing that. Also, is this part of the duchy up here? No, so this is Duchy of Crusader. Now, does Crusader already exist? That's an interesting point. It doesn't. Okay, so we're also in a little bit of danger here because I think Crusader is only 3 holdings? Yes, so it seems like that's only 3 holdings. Actually, we can confirm it by going on to the duchy title. Now, why is this an issue? Well, it's an issue because of what I brought up last time. It's an issue right in here in our succession because of Confederate partition. Now, what would happen if we controlled, say, this one and this one? We didn't take the bit of land off of Swabia. What would happen? Well, effectively, what would happen is if we have 2 sons, one of the sons would get this duchy, and the other son would have this duchy created for them, which means that our land would split in half, which is obviously bad. Which means that what we want to do is, before we go and look at passing this decision to form the Swiss Confederation, is we want to make sure that we're going to get all 3 of those in one lifetime and already have the other conditions met for this, which is just having your level of fame at illustrious, which, to be fair, is not that difficult. We're almost at established here. The one after established is illustrious, so it's not really that difficult to get to. But we want to make sure we have that because otherwise we're in danger of having all of our land split apart. If we were going to take a singular piece, or if we were going to take some land off of these ones, we would want to make sure that we only take a singular piece of land, because then we wouldn't have enough to create the duchy, so it couldn't split our land in half. So, yeah, right now, we're at a moment of peace. Now, we could always attack over here to the west, but we don't really want to do that, one, because they're actually stronger than our northern bordered people. But 2, because we don't want to expand outside of the Swiss borders. We want to build tall, we want to have all of our land be kind of built up and strong in of itself. Now, talking about that, what we also want to do is we want to make sure that we have good councillors and other such things. And I've been trying to do it through just making people like us, but it has been pointed out that there is another thing that we can do. In our courtiers here, we can go in here and we can say, hey, you're just a random person who's in my court. You have absolutely no connection to anything, but if I was to somehow marry you matrilineally to somebody outside our court, we can potentially drag people to our court. Like, for instance, this dude right here is actually in some other person's court. This is a mercenary company's court. But what we can do is we can marry matrilineally. This means that for succession purposes, she would be the one, her dynasty would be the one that passes down. They're lowborn, so it doesn't matter. But what it also means is that it treats her as kind of the man in the situation, and the way that the game works by default is the woman will move to the man's court. So, if we do this, we can effectively move people to our court without having to actually get their opinion on the matter whatsoever, which is quite nice. So, what are we missing? Let's have a look. I think we're missing a spy master. We have a marshal for just now. We can potentially change this person into a chancellor, which might not be a bad idea. I mean, they do have 17 diplomacy, but we don't really need the chancellor stuff. I mean, foreign affairs doesn't really matter. Domestic affairs doesn't really matter. We don't have vassals, and we don't care about other people's opinions of us, so we're kind of like it's all okay kind of moment. I mean, it does increase fellow vassal opinion, so in theory what it's doing is it's increasing the opinion of this person, the opinion of this person, the opinion of this person, all that sort of stuff. But in practice, I mean, how much is it increasing it by? 6? Yeah, up to a maximum of 6. It's not really a huge bonus, so We don't not necessarily jump in at needing to change this person. Steward, we could potentially change you up. Now, there is a benefit to getting just a better steward. We just get more taxes. So that seems pretty good. What do? You lower building construction time. I was hoping that you may also lower building construction cost. You don't. But what we could potentially do is we could potentially raise the development in our holdings. And this affects your taxes and your levies more permanently than just collecting taxes. And given that we don't need money right now, that's a potential person as well. So, we're looking at Steward, we're looking at Spymaster, and I've just realized there's a much better way of finding people in our court. So I'm going to go court, I'm going to look for adults, I'm going to look for female, and I'm going to look for, well, I was going to say unmarried, but one's our wife, so I kind of assume that she is married. So this is the only unmarried person in our court. So let's see what we can do here. Now, have we got anyone with intrigue? You potentially, 42-year-old. She is 37, so there's very little chance that they have children no matter who we marry her to, so age doesn't really matter as much. This guy already kind of likes us because we're both craven. We're both cowards. Okay, I mean, it's an option. Is he in our court? No, he is in Prince Magnus Haraldsson's court. Perfect. Slovy, you will move to my court. Wonderful. Right, and now we just let the game play out. Wait a second or two. Perfect. So he has now arrived in our court. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my Spymaster and I'm going to make him my Spymaster. So we'll fire our previous one. And that gives us a Spymaster who, although he doesn't like us as much, he does do a better job. I'm also going to switch him back to disrupt schemes as we're currently not trying to murder anyone, I think. Yeah, we're trying to sway somebody, but it really does not matter at all. That's just my vassal. You know what? Given that I don't care about my fellow vassal's opinion of me right now, I could switch to this one, which would give us 6 opinion with fellow vassals. Now, not fellow vassals, with direct vassals. So with this guy, which it doesn't matter immediately, but 6 opinion basically means instead of us having to wait 19 years for this short reign to go away and him still not liking us, we can wait like 1 less year and he will like us at the end of this. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to switch you over to domestic affairs. It also gives us a chance of randomly getting an increased vassal opinion, so this guy could actually just like us in 2 years or so, which would be great. Right, what is next on our list of things to do? Well, we're already doing 2 buildings, aren't we? Yes. Well, we're doing 1 building. Why am I not building in this holding? I guess I just decided not to. We could. Nothing's stopping us. We could build the exact same thing that we're building in the other holding. Yeah, logically it makes sense. Now, the problem is this won't actually give us that much tax because currently we're getting 98% less, but each month that goes up. Yeah, let's start building it. The earlier we build it, the earlier it starts paying us back for building it. So, that seems good. Right, and then we're going to speed up the game a little bit. Oh, actually, I did have one other idea. And the other idea was if we could somehow get an alliance with somebody who was in a lot of wars. Now, why would we want to get an alliance with somebody who's in a lot of wars? Well, my logic is that we get prestige if we help in an ally's war. If we don't plan on using our army to go to war for ourselves, we could go to war for an ally, and then that would give us prestige. And prestige gives us nice things, so it could potentially be a good idea. Let's just see if we can find somebody who looks like they're going to be in a lot of wars. Like, France are probably going to be in wars, but they're probably going to be too big for us. We could try and ally with these guys. It doesn't look like they're in a war right now. Provence is obviously in hell. To defend against the tyranny. So that's an internal war, but apart from that, I don't think they're going to be in too many. How about over here? Yeah, so you're already in a couple of wars. Against the tyranny, so that's an internal war. And somebody's claiming some of your titles. So that's actually up here as well. Wait, are you the defender in both? You are the defender in both. Except that you're a secondary defender in that war. Okay, so if we could ally somebody over this way, that would be a good idea. I was just thinking, maybe we could ally the people who are winning the war. And then that might help us. So can we potentially get an alliance with Austria? Okay, So, Duke Ernst of Austria. I'm just going to mark him up there. So, our children are 12 and 8. So we're looking for somebody who's going to be a good match. Now, we have to marry our daughter off matrilineally because we don't have a secure succession. But apart from that, we're kind of fine. So, a 5-year-old. Could we marry our daughter matrilineally to him? Yes. So you would accept that. That's really interesting. And I think it's because it's not the first... I think if we were to go for this son, he would say absolutely no, especially as they're already getting married. But he would actually say yes here, because he desires an alliance. We speak his language. And we've got a high level of splendor. So this right here, we're reputable. Okay. Interesting. Well, okay. Let's take it. That seems like a good marriage from our side, and it's going to drag this person to our court when the marriage happens, and he seems to have alright stats right now. Yeah, so let's get an alliance with the Babenbergs over there, and hopefully they'll call us into their war. Now, we also want to potentially be looking at betrothals for our son. We'll be looking for good genetic traits here, so let's see if we can find any, just while we're here. If we don't, then we'll leave it and wait for a better opportunity, but let's see what we got. So we're looking for inheritable traits, age difference of 5 years. Okay, so that leaves us with one option. I was looking for people who were within 5 years of our son, because that made sense, because then once we get married, that'll be it. So you're 17, you're 12. That means that you will be 21 when the marriage happens. That's not terrible. So you're from the barony of Copsis, which is over here. Okay, that's a little bit far away for us because we're over there. I don't think I'm okay. I don't think I like that marriage. What happens if I go to 10 years, but I say that I want them to be a child? The reason I would do this is because I'm looking for somebody who's younger than Otto. Because ideally we want a younger wife than an older wife because we want more chance of getting an heir. So, let's go with that. So we've got a larger list. It's not a huge list. It's only 4 people. So, when Otto hits 16, that's going to be 4 years from then. So, the eldest one out of those ones is going to be 8. That's not fantastic. I'm just going to say that's not fantastic. We do have potential heirs coming from the secondary line, as in coming from our daughter's line, but... yeah, I think we might have to accept that we're not getting a trait. Although, 2 traits potentially here. You would be 6, so it would be another 10 years. So you would be 26 when we can marry. Because I think you marry at 16. That's not terrible. I think we might arrange a marriage with you. Now, you're not part of any special house. Yeah, so you're just part of some random thing. I think we can cope. I think this seems an okay one. Yeah. I'm going to arrange this marriage. Yes, I'm happy with this one. We lose a little bit of prestige for the marriage happening, but I think it's going to end out well in the long run. Right. So let's go with that. And then, I think we're pretty much ready to unpause. Now, I just remembered, and I should have been doing this the whole time, but somebody made a suggestion that we start using character names more as we go through, which sounds kind of cool, because it fits with the whole idea of we're trying to have real characters in this one, because that's what the DLC wants to have. So we're going to start referring to people as Werner and as Regan, Lind, and all that. It will mean that there's occasional pauses as I parse the names and get them wrong, but, you know... it's something I'm going to deliberately try and do. So our son and heir, Otto, is now getting married. Wonderful. Well, he's getting married in quite a few years, as is our daughter. Is also getting married in quite a few years. Although, she'll be getting married first, I think, because she'll be married in 8 years. No, she'll be married in 13 years. And our son will be married in 14 years. So yeah, she'll be married 1 year before him. We can unmark that, because we no longer care. But now we have an alliance with him. He may call us in. Can we offer to join his war? We could. Can I just offer to join any war, just out of curiosity? Yes, okay. I specifically want to join his war. He's my ally. Let's see. No, I'm not allowed to join this one. He's not the war leader. Oh, who is the war leader then? I guess he couldn't have called us into this one anyway. Still not a bad alliance. Lowitz. Okay, you. He's not my ally. Ah. So yes, you cannot just offer to join anyone's war. Oh, yeah, but you're also not my ally. I see. So next war that Austria's in, we're good. But it has to be the war leader, which I had not fully realized he wasn't. But that's okay. Grant Vassal. Good tidings! I have decided to make Count Ulrich of Bern your vassal. Well, thank you very much, Kaiser Henrik. That's really quite nice of you. So that's Bern is going to be under our control. Now, we would much prefer to have the land ourselves. I love that we can just decline it. That's also funny is the AI gets this event. So in theory, there's a world where the AI declines you giving them a vassal. In practice, they probably got something that just says the AI always accept. But it's kind of funny. Do we want him? I don't know if we want him. I mean, I appreciate the offer. It's definitely a good offer. Do we want the land more? That's the question. I don't think we do. I mean, he is our brother-in-law. The children are our nephews. This actually does make a level of sense. He doesn't hate us. He has no opinion of us whatsoever. Yeah, you know what? I accept. So we now hold Bern as well. He now hates us. Oh, that's our liege being attacked. That's fine. He hates us because he has not had a seat on the council, and we now have a short reign penalty with him because we've only been ruling over him for like 0 days. Well, we can put him on the council. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to swap you and my chancellor. Although I could make him my steward. I think I'd much prefer to do it this way. So where's my chancellor? Yeah, so I'm going to swap these two. Then I'm going to swap him in as my marshal. Which means that we have a much better marshal now and a much better chancellor who has now got the ability to put everyone's opinion up by 8.5, which is pretty good. And that gives us a solid base. So we have 17, 17, 18, 12. And then a 16 as our bishop, which was a good roll. I think I'm kind of happy with that. I think I'm happy with how things have gone there. Right, let's unpause. I know we haven't gone very many days in this one. Also, a ton of people are becoming Lollard. Like that's a large number of people. Can I see a list? No, I guess I would have to do it like this. Yeah, so you can see there's all these little pockets of Lollard around the place. They're not all over, but like there's enough of them that they exist. Are you? Yeah, you've converted. That doesn't give me a reason to declare war on you. But it's interesting. I guess it's because you're a stray. No, you're hostile. Unless we just don't have holy wars or anything. Although maybe you can't holy war within being the vassal of someone. I will say it's not very often that I actually end up playing a vassal of someone else, because generally in the game you can like size up very, very quickly. So yeah, okay, interesting. So some things I may be missing. Right, I'm going to speed 5. Which just goes as fast as your CPU can cope. Factions are being created against Kaiser Henrik. We'll ignore that. Sway, so compliments. To make my Chancellor, Mayor Werner, more susceptible to my attempts at approaching him, I can include a compliment in my next missive to his court. I'll be sure to mention his... What does he have? So he is gluttonous, cynical, and gregarious. So, empathy and kind heart, clear rationality, forgiving nature, or keep it short and professional. So, let's think about this for a second. He's also an eager reveler. I think empathy and kind heart has to be the right one here. He's got nothing about clear rationality in here. Although maybe cynical is a rational thing here? It may be. Forgiving nature, he definitely has nothing. I'm thinking empathy, he's got gregarious, he gets on well with other people, he likes having feasts. This seems like this might work for him. So let's try it. Did we get 10 opinion? I don't know. Maybe we have to wait for a reply. Did we get nothing? Oh! Our daughter has learned the Saxon language. Well, That's interesting. I don't really know if there's any, like, thing that we're going to get out of that, but it's interesting. Yeah, so it looks like that did nothing to him in terms of his opinion of us. Oh no, there we go. Our recent correspondence has been a source of joy for me. I cannot help but think that we might both benefit from increased communication. Signed, Mayor Werner of Pontarlier. Oh, fantastic. Well, we got 10 opinion with them. Oh, that's kind of what we were after. Right, our liege won the war against a peasant. Well, you would expect them to. And now we're going to speed up the game. A demonstration of leadership. My Marshal, Count Ulrich, has been hovering around my council meetings lately. Knowing his interest in matters of leadership, I cannot help but feel that the man is waiting for me to impress him. I could probably engage him in conversation. On the other hand, it might be better for him to simply see me interacting with my men. There is something to be said for at least pretending to know every soldier's face. So, we can discuss methods of communication, where I'll get martial lifestyle experience and he'll get opinion of me, or we'll go meet some recruits, which means that for 2 years I get levy reinforcement rate. We're not at war and we haven't been at war for a while, so I think this is the better option. One other thing that we should consider doing as well now is potentially switching from a martial focus. We already have everything in the overseer tree, and nothing really screams that we need it in the other trees. Like, we've got a little bit of gallant, just because the first one is very good for if we actually lead armies. But if we go down here, knight effectiveness, we don't have a ton of knights because we're early in the game and we're not very large, so that's fine. Also, we don't have a large court, so even if we had space for more knights, we wouldn't have them. Never back down. Well, this is cool if we're leading an army, but I mean, to be honest, like, it's not a huge benefit, I'm just gonna say. Like, this isn't incredible. Household Guard increases the number of knights. Again, we have a small court. This isn't gonna do anything. And then this entire line is about marriage acceptance. This is for your close family. Doesn't matter. We've already got all of our close family married. This is all for romance schemes, don't need them. In fact, we have the correct number of children, which is 2, an heir and a spare. And then this one's spouse opinion and skills from spouse counselor tasks. This one's kind of okay, but like, I don't think that we want to go all the way down here for that. Peacemaker is good if you're in a lot of wars, because it means you can get peace earlier. And then we've got Gallant, which is just kind of generically good, but you have to go all the way down here to get it. So we don't want that one. These are all buffs for combat. Like, nearly all of these are some kind of combat buff. And we're not in that many wars. So, right now, there's actually not an awful lot that we want from Marshal. Now, we should probably finish off the current trait that we've got, but once we finish it, we should be looking at something else. Like, maybe we could do something with intrigue, maybe we could do something with learning, maybe we could do something with stewardship, but there's all sorts of options. Like, with stewardship, we could get cutting cornerstones here and decrease our building construction cost, which is going to help us a lot if we plan on building tons and tons of buildings, which we kind of do. So, that's my logic. Anyway, we're going to speed up the game, because there's not a lot for us to do right now. Although, I was just thinking, in terms of killing people, I know we don't want to expand outside of Switzerland, but there's nothing that would stop us from having our family expand outside of it. And if everything goes well, this son should inherit this land, but we could have our daughter potentially have her children inherit Austria over here. That's not a bad option, because all we would need to do is get him in charge of the land. That's not impossible, because all we would have to do is kill 1, 2, and then there we go. He's in charge. He has no children. Do you have any children? No. So we have two lots with no children, and then we have this guy. That's a potential option. Let me just double check that I'm correct. Yeah, so you are currently 3rd in line to Austria. That's something to think about. That's something to think about. Right. Let me just see here. So, how old is your wife? Your wife is 17. Okay. How old is your wife? Your wife is 30. Oh, so you're not married yet. So, no chance of children happening from this one. Also, just going back here, what is that trait? Ah, wounded. That explained. I was just kind of like, what's that trait? But that's fine. That's causing the graphical effect. So there's a chance of children coming from this marriage. So really, if we could murder you, this would be looking great. What's our chance? 30%. That's not that bad. It's definitely not that bad. Because we can also switch you on to helping, which gives us another chunk of power into the scheme. Be 14% success chance. And then people might join it. I mean, I'm tempted. I'm kind of tempted. I know we just got him as an ally, so he can go and join his wars when he has them, but I'm kind of tempted about murdering his entire family line. You know, just a little bit. Let's just have a look, right? I mean, what's the harm in looking? Right, in here. So we can get an extra 30 success chance and an extra 16 success chance. Okay, now that is his brother, which does mean that will obviously not work against against his brother because he won't kill himself. So let's do this. Puts us at 44% with 69% secrecy. If we were to do this, we go up to 74% chance of killing plus an 89% secrecy. We could also potentially get you in. That would put us at a 90% chance of killing with a maxed out secrecy. That's tempting. I think we're going to do it. I mean, here's the thing. What's he going to do to us if, like, we're found out? Nothing? That seems fine. Okay, so he's going to join our scheme for 5 years. We're paying him 75 gold for the privilege. I think that's worth it. Let's let that one go through. There we go. And that actually maxed out our secrecy by itself. Somehow. Did we get an extra bonus somewhere? I don't know. Anyway. Maybe I just miscounted. Then you would join for 63 gold. That's tempting. And you would definitely work against the next person as well, potentially. Although you would only work if I gave you a gift, because I would have to bribe you again. I'm tempted to invite you. It's a lot of money. 74% is fairly high as a success chance, and only a 95% chance of being found. I think we just roll the dice. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's speed it up to speed 5 and let it roll again. Both of these are getting done. The mayor has been swayed, so he now has 16 opinion of me. Positive opinion. Wonderful. So that's all good. This is fine. So we got beneficial deals. The building construction cost and the holding of our Gao is now cheaper. So in our capital, it's cheaper to build things. Great. Love it. Another thing that I was thinking we should check is in our vassals here. Are you providing me the total that you could provide me? I'm trying to see, like, where is the max? It doesn't look like you're providing me anything. Yeah, so you're providing me nothing because you're a republic. Yeah, so you have no obligations. Okay. Oh, no, you have no individual, so you just give me whatever the base limit for a lower holding person has to give. So, like, for some one of these people, that's fine, so we'll ignore you. But you're giving me something based upon your feudal contract, and your feudal contract says that you don't have to pay me full taxes or levies. Okay. Well, I'd obviously love to change that. Would you pay me full taxes? You would. Would you pay me full levies? Yeah. I could also give one thing away. The problem is that even if I give one thing away, he's still going to dislike me because of tyranny, because I've taken too much from him in one go. How much is this giving us? So currently, this gives us nothing. It would then give us 0.2 per month. What's his contribution at this level? So it's 2.5%. It goes up to 10%. So it's a four times contribution. This is 10% levies going up to 25% levies. So that's 1.5 times extra contribution. So that would give us an extra 60 troops. The gold is kind of better, I think. I think I'm happier with the gold. Now we can get this tyranny to go away by giving him something. I think what we're going to do is we're going to sanction his ability to declare wars. What this means is that the vassal can declare wars regardless of the liege's crown authority, which currently says that they're allowed to declare wars, and they pay 50% less for it for wars within our lands, of which there are none that he can declare. So this is free, basically. This is just free opinion that we're giving him. So we're trading this for actual money out of his taxes, for 10% of what he has. Well, technically we're trading it for 7.5% of what he has, but still, That's pretty good. I think I'll take that. Yes, so we'll modify his vassal contract. You can only do this once for each character, so this guy's contract can never be changed again, but he is 54, so there's a chance he just dies, and then we can negotiate a contract with his child, so that all works perfectly fine for me. There we go. So we'll chuck that one in there. Cool. Let's let it roll on a little bit longer. A rusty tool. Peering through the dusty murk of the armory, my gaze travels over multiple different weapons of war. A pair of battered leather greaves, a recently sharpened sword, a spear with a worn haft, a rusty farming tool. I pick up the farming implement. Perhaps it has been lumped in unknowingly with the weapons. I heft the tool, examining its curiously curved sickle-like blade, as I give it an experimental swing at a nearby hauberk. The blade pierces the mail, scattering a few iron rings across the floor. Interesting. Okay, so we can try and turn the tool into a weapon, or we can say that's enough of that. Let's try and turn the tool into a weapon. Why not? Choices. Taking the small blade out into the midday sun, I inspect it more closely. The blade tapers to a point at one end and disappears into the tang at the other, leaving a length of slightly rusty but still sharp iron in between. The kink at the blade's head gives the implement a wicked curve to it, useful for cutting through shrubs, you'd think, or maybe finding gaps in armor. It's clear this could be repurposed as a weapon of war, but the question remains exactly what guise said weapon would take. Okay, so we can make a dagger if we straightened it out. We could mount it on the end of a spear, or why don't we leave it as is? Perhaps it can be an effective weapon without modifications. What are the other things? You fail to make something useful. Or we can leave it as is. So 76% chance that it works, 23% chance it fails. I think we'll try and get a dagger. The jury-rigged blade. As a lord, I'm not exactly well versed with the process of actually modifying a weapon of war. Despite my enthusiasm, it quickly became clear that I'll need some expert guidance. I called the holding, somewhat harassed-looking blacksmith, Dietrich, who muttered something I didn't quite catch about rulers and their pet projects, and after a day or so of filing and honing, my work is complete. So did you always exist, or have you just come into existence? I believe you might have just come into existence. I'm also like, are you a man or a woman? There's a way of telling. I just completely missed it. Also, I need to just reset these to default. You're a man. Okay. Well, I'll just ignore you then. Because I was like, oh, maybe we can get someone else into our court. Right. The formerly curved blade has been straightened out, its shortened blade leading to a tapering point with a beveled groove running down the flat of the blade. It is not a pretty weapon, but a weapon it is nonetheless. It's perfect, or it's even better than my one. So we can get improvised daggers, which lowers the recruitment cost of skirmishers. So if we wanted to get potentially some men-at-arms, this might be a good opportunity. How much does a skirmisher cost? Just move that away for just now. So skirmisher is a type of men-at-arm, I think. Like it's one of these. I don't think we can actually hire skirmishers. Wait, are you... Yeah, I don't think we have any skirmishers. They're definitely a type of men-at-arm. I'm sure that they are. One of these types. I'm questioning it. Must be able to find it through some means. Like, now I'm starting to question it. Oh, there we go. Bowmen counter skirmishers. So skirmishers exist, we just don't have the ability to create any. So, right away, that's not very good. That's really bad for us. So I'll take the makeshift dagger artifact, given we have no weapon. And then I'll take the lifestyle experience. Nice. So that gives us the makeshift dagger, which gives us 1 prowess. Not the most impressive weapon in the world, but it is our weapon. Cool. And then I think what we're going to do is we're going to end the episode there. Thank you for watching. Next time our lodges should finish, so it'll give us more troops potentially. We already got some of the land that I was planning to get, so I'll need to think of a new plan. Maybe Swabia? They are allied with somebody, which is a little... Well, they're not really allied with anybody strong. which is a little bit of a problem, but we now have an ally in Austria who we haven't yet backstabbed, so there's potentially something with getting Austria into this war. That's 1,800 troops that we can potentially drag into this war. That's pretty good, I'd say. Austria's attacking someone. Tag me in, coach. I want to be part of this. Though we gain some stress because we're Craven, but he gets closer to becoming my friend, which I kind of like. So what you declared for the Duchy of Steiermark? Which is down here. You've declared against these people, I'm guessing? Yes. And that is drawn in Upper Lorraine? Oh, Upper Lorraine are on our side. Well, that's great, because they're right next to us. And then Steiermark have Spreewald on their side. Oh, right. They're here. I see. So, Ernst, I think I'm going to get you to let me in this war. Yeah, let's do that. I offer to join. We have joined the Austrian war. Well, we have what we're doing next time. Thanks for watching. I'm going to end the episode there, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.